Om. 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 Sahana भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः I will just read the one or two previous shloka starting from 22nd. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Just as a man casts off his worn out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn out bodies and enters new ones. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्याप न शोषयति मारुतः. Weapons cleave it not, fire burns it not, water moistens it not, wind dries it not. So yesterday I think Dr. Mara had completed the self-evident Atma and she told to repeat the last 2 points, I think. If anyone remembers, kindly guide me. Should I read from the nature of destruction? I think she read the five element model of the world, right? I hope you can hear me. All of you can hear me.
Yes, dear, we can.
Yes, yes, Belaji.
She told while ending yesterday that please repeat this part, but the five element model she had done, right?
Yeah, you can repeat that.
And the Manana for this Atma is indestructible was done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dhanyavad for the update. Yeah. The five element model of the world. Throughout the Shastra, we find a particular model that presents the world as made up of five elements: space, akasha, air, vayu, fire, agni, water, apah, and earth, prithvi. In their subtle and gross forms, these elements account for everything that is here. The subtle elements account for the mind, senses, and so on. And the gross elements account for the physical body and the physical world. Your physical body comprises of five gross elements. It occupies space, akasha. It contains air, vayu, oxygen being present wherever there is blood. The body has temperature or heat, Agni, and its shape is due to the water, Apaha. It has as part of its composition. Finally, the body contains the same minerals that are found in the earth, Prithvi, calcium, carbon, magnesium, and so on. The physical universe can be defined in many ways. This elemental model is simply for understanding each of the elements, bhutas, enjoys the same degree of reality because they are all elements. Whatever the nature of reality is, Akasha has a certain degree of that reality. The same degree of reality is also enjoyed by the other four elements Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. Only objects belonging to the same degree of reality can affect each other. I repeat, only objects belonging to the same degree of reality can affect each other. For example, one physical body can definitely destroy another physical body. Similarly, a body and a weapon, both physical objects, belong to the same degree of reality. Therefore, the weapon can hit the body and injure or destroy it. Suppose, however, you want to destroy a tree with the shadow of another tree. It is impossible, nor can you hit a dog with the shadow of a rock. This is because the object and the shadow belong to two different orders of reality and are therefore incapable of destroying each other. If one is to affect the other, both must enjoy the same degree of reality. So, this is just a small recap of Tattva Bodh, how the body is made up of the elements and the role of every element. And Swamiji is trying to explain that the same degree of reality can affect each other, not the different degree of reality. Like a shadow cannot destroy the object which has form. And at the same time, one physical body can destroy the other physical body. It can be living or non-living. But when they have a specific form, name, and shape, it can definitely destroy the other specific form of reality, the form of the object. So here it is only the Panchabhuta we are talking about. I think it is very clear, right? If anybody has any doubt, if you want me to repeat or want to share some understanding, more understanding, please go ahead. So I presume that it is clear the five gross elements and their reality, the nature of destruction. Objects belonging to the same order of reality need not affect each other also. Space, for example, belongs to the same order of reality as the other four elements, but is not affected or destroyed by any of them. Air cannot dehydrate space, fire cannot burn it, and water cannot drown it. Nor can you take a sword in hand and destroy space. Space cannot be destroyed by bombing it, much less with a pistol. It cannot even be polluted. There is no such thing as space pollution. Only the atmosphere is polluted. The other four elements cannot destroy space because space has no form. Air, on the other hand, can be destroyed in the sense that one form can be changed into another. Air implies atoms, and atoms imply a structure which can always be changed into a new structure. If hydrogen and oxygen are brought together in a certain way, water is created. Any structure is always available for change. It can become entirely different. One metal can be converted into another metal simply by changing its atomic weight. A base metal can be changed into gold in this way, although it is not economically feasible to do. The word death. Okay, so before we go ahead to the implication of this model, we will just try to understand here that Swamiji is talking about those five gross elements, and out of them, how the space is different. It contains a different order of reality since it is not affected by the other four elements because it does not have any shape or form. Space itself does not have any shape or form in,
Structure.
com- in
Mm.
comparison to air, water, fire, and other four elements, gross elements. So I think we should understand this very clearly that within this Panchabhutas also, space is an element which is not affected. And the other four elements, they are definitely affected because they have a particular shape, form, and particular characteristics. Yeah, any confusion? If you want me to repeat anything, please let me know. The other four elements, uh, I think it's a very subtle aspect how the space is not. Gurudev has talked about a lot. Uh, that is why when we are meditating, we go into that shunya, I mean, no thoughts, and it's a blissful. It reminds us of our own nature, Satchit Ananda, isn't it? Yeah. So, how it is, how Swamiji is relating the next. I will just try to read the last two paragraphs. The word death applies to a particular structure that no longer exists because it has been changed in some way. Shankara argues that anything that has limbs, attributes, or structure can be destroyed. Space having none of these cannot be destroyed even by other elements that share the same order of reality. I repeat, very beautiful paragraph. The word death applies to a particular structure that no longer exists because it has been changed in some way. Shankara argues that anything that has limbs, attributes, or structure can be destroyed. Space having none of these cannot be destroyed even by other elements that share the same order of reality. The Atma is also free from limbs, attributes, or structure. It is pure consciousness. I am aware of everything, including my thoughts, which objectify this entire world. Therefore, this consciousness, Atma, cannot be destroyed by any weapon or any other instrument of destruction because it is not available for objectification. Nothing can get at this Atma. Furthermore, nothing else belongs to the same order of reality. So beautifully it is concluded. The way the space element does not have any structure, any attribute, any form, any shape. That is why it is not influenced by anything. The way space is not affected, in the same way, Atma, being free from all the structures or attributes or free from limbs, it's pure consciousness, and it cannot be destroyed by any weapon. Nainam chindanti shastrani. It cannot be destroyed. That's what Swamiji wants to here explain here. Shankaracharya ji also. Yeah, kindly share before we go to the how it is self-evident Atma, how the Atma is substratum to everything. Shall I read ahead? I think everybody has spaced out or what?
Belaji, we have s- discussed it yesterday. Whatever
Okay,
is a structure, no? So,
okay.
hmm,
We have already discussed it.
hmm,
Okay,
hmm.
okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Dhanyavad. Okay. The self-evident Atma. Atma is Satya. Atma alone is self-evident and everything else is evident to it. Atma is self-shining and everything else shines after the Atma. The one that shines of its own accord is Atma. It requires no evidence for its existence. What is self-evident is self-existent, depending on nothing for its existence, whereas what is not self evident is not self existent and depends entirely upon that which is self existent. In this way, any given object depends upon another object. A clay pot depends upon clay, which is nothing but mud, and mud is nothing but atoms. Atoms depend on particles, and so on. Thus, everything depends upon something else, and that something else depends upon your concept, which depends upon consciousness. Consciousness alone depends on nothing. Therefore, everything shines after this self evident, self existent Atma. Naturally, then the whole creation, the whole world is equal to Asat only. When everything is Asat and Atma alone is Sat, how can the Sat be destroyed by Asat? Air, fire, water, and earth exist because of Atma. Because Atma is Sat and the elements are Asat, they are incapable of destroying the Atma. The reflection cannot come out of the mirror to tease and destroy you any more than your own shadow can. If your reflection looks ferocious and frowning, that is only because you look so. There is no need to become anxious because your reflection is frowning and looks as though it is going to destroy you. If you run away from it and it comes chasing after you, any chasing that is done is all in your mind. The reflection is not going to affect you because it is a Sat and you are Sat. Since all of the elements are Asat, they cannot do anything to Atma, which is Sat. A problem may arise here, however, since a non existent thing also cannot be destroyed by anyone. Perhaps this Atma is non existent, zero, shunya. In the expression Vandhya Putra, the son of a woman who cannot give birth to a child, the son cannot be destroyed by anything. We are not talking here of an adopted son or a surrogate son, but of a non existent son. There is no son to be burnt or drowned. Similarly, perhaps there is no Atma. This doubt could arise, but the next verse, along with Shankara's commentary, puts this doubt to rest. So the last statement, although it looks little uh, contradictory, there is no Atma, perhaps there is no Atma. It is like Buddha's state where he had said that it is all Shunya. Yeah, but in the coming verse, Shankaracharya ji explains. So, how the self evident Atma, which is the substratum for the whole creation, how it cannot be destroyed by anything because it belongs to a very different object of reality. It is not even object because it has no attributes, no shape, no form. So it is not affected. It cannot be destroyed by any other form of reality. Yeah. If you want me to read anything again or share anything, please go ahead. I think till here Dr. Mara had read, right? I will go ahead with the next verse. अछेद्योऽयं मदाह्योऽयं क्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च अछेद्योऽयं मदाह्योऽयं अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुरचलोऽयं सनातनः अयं this अछेद्यः cannot be cut ayam this adahyah cannot be burnt akledyah cannot be made wet ashoshya evacha and also cannot be dried ayam this nityah changeless sarvagatah all pervading sthanuh stable achalah immovable sanatanah eternal अयम अच्छेद्य अयम अदाह्य अक्लेद्य अशोष्य अयम नित्य सर्वगतः स्थाणुः अचलः सनातनः This self cannot be cut, burnt, drowned or dried. It is changeless, all pervading, stable, immovable and eternal. I repeat, this self cannot be cut, burnt, drowned, or dried. It is changeless, all pervading, stable, immovable, and eternal. The word ayam in this verse refers to the self evident, self existent Atma, not a non existent Atma, Shunya. Self evident means that which does not require any means of knowledge to prove its existence. The Atma alone is self evident. Everything else becomes evident to the self. This is the takeaway of the whole shloka. I repeat, the word ayam in this verse refers to the self evident, self existent Atma, not a non existent Atma, Shunya. Self evident means that which does not require any means of knowledge to prove its existence. The Atma alone is self evident. Everything else becomes evident to the self. To say I am does not require perception, inference, presumption, illustration, or the means of knowledge called anupalabdhi. That which helps you understand what does not exist. Even to understand what does not exist requires someone who is existent to use the anupalabdhi pramana. For example, in order to know that there is no pot in my hand, there must be perception and a person who wields the perception. Inference, a means of knowledge based on perception, also presupposes a person who wields the inference. Whatever the means of knowledge, there must be someone to wield it. To say that the object in your hand is a feather and it belongs to a peacock requires a means of knowledge, your own perception, and your prior knowledge of a peacock feather. You perceive the object directly and recognize it as a feather. Similarly, to prove the existence of any object, a means of knowledge is necessary. So, how like Anumana, Pramana, how they help us to understand the specific shape, form. That's what here is being explained. Even to perceive that my physical body is not the same as it was yesterday requires a means of knowledge. How do you know you have a stomach ache, back pain, or that you ache all over? Since you cannot show the ache to anyone, no one can verify it. This is why body ache and back pain are so useful in applying for leave. Even an orthopedic specialist cannot say whether there is an ache or not because it is purely your own experience. You alone are the witness. Witness perception, Shakshi Pratyaksha, is another type of perception that does not involve the senses but still is a perception. You can only talk about these various conditions of the body if you have a way of knowing them. Similarly, since you talk about your mind, you must have some way of knowing it. There must be some perception by which you know the mind. That you have certain memories is purely because the programming is there, even though it might not always serve your purpose. Even to know that you have forgotten something is a perception. Everything is evident to me because I have a means of knowing. But by what means do I know that I am? Do I know I am by perception, by a scripture, by the senses, by inference? No, I am there before them all. Because I am, I can infer. I am, and therefore I can see and hear. That I am is self evident, and because I am, all knowledge is possible. So, again, here that easiness which Swamiji had talked before, because of which the whole creation is. Okay, it is the self evident Atma. Yeah, if you want me to repeat anything, how Atma is self evident, it doesn't require any pratyaksha pramana or any anumana, since it is the basis for everything else around you. At the same time, it is not shunya or asat. And Swamiji's sense of humor is such wonderful in between. He says all the aches and pain, how they are experienced only by you, how they are so useful in applying for leave, since nobody can prove the intensity or even the presence except you. I think this was also covered by, I think, Dr. Mara, right? I'm really sorry. I'm because I think I have repeated, but as Swamiji humorously says in this Atmabodh class, you even if you miss in between something, don't worry. They will be talking about the same Atma only. So here again, but at the same time, how important it is to talk about that Atma, which is self-evident, which is the basis for the whole creation. So it helps us to experience how it is in and through, how Ishvara is in and through the creation, but not that. It is never affected by anything. Yeah, I think this was covered yesterday, isn't it? Let me just check. Yeah. If you require any manana, please go ahead. Or I presume that it was discussed already. I will go ahead. Atma is not non-existent. One thing alone, Atma alone, is self-evident, Swatah Siddha. Therefore, ayam is a very important word here, referring as it does to that which is not the object of any destruction, achedya. Krishna kept repeating it because the Atma is not zero. It is not non existent like the son of a barren woman. The Atma is all existent, self existent, and is not subject to being slain, burnt, drowned, or dehydrated. It is timeless, nitya, and thus all pervasive, sarvagata. Very beautiful paragraph. Atma is not non existent. One thing alone, Atma alone, is self evident, Swatah Siddha. Therefore, ayam is a very important word here, referring as it does to that which is not the object of any destruction, achedya. Krishna kept repeating it because the Atma is not zero. It is not non existent like the son of a barren woman. The Atma is all existent, self existent, and is not subject to being slain, burnt, drowned, or dehydrated. It is timeless, nitya, and thus all pervasive, sarvagata. Anything that is time bound, anitya, is not sarvagata. Even space is not all pervasive. Space is all pervasive only with reference to the world, but it does not pervade the Atma because Atma is consciousness, and in the consciousness there is no space. But then, when space is there, consciousness is also there. Therefore, space does not pervade the Atma, but Atma pervades space. It is Sarvagata. Then again, Atma cannot move. It is Sthanu. How can it move? Where can it move? It can only move to a place where it is not. Since Atma is Sarvagata, it is Sthanu. It does not move, it is always the same. Here, one may think perhaps the Atma is like a tree, staying in one place but swaying. No, we are told. Unlike the tree, it does not sway. It is achala. Krishna also describes the Atma as that which remains the same always. It is Sanatana. It is not brought into being by some force or cause. Because it is not affected in any way by anything, the Atma is always the same, always fresh, always new. Knowing the Atma in this way, there is no reason for you to entertain any grief. But you may say, I don't cry for Atma, I cry for Anatma. To which Krishna would ask, why do you cry for Anatma? It is always changing, Anitya. Anatma is always going, and you cannot stop it even if you want to. Whereas the Atma is Nitya, and there is no way of destroying it. For what do you grieve, Arjuna? Krishna asked. There is no room for grief at all. There is something to be done. Do it. So, once again, Bhagavan is bringing back Arjuna. Ashochanamna shochastvam. You are thinking about that for which you should not think because you are grieving for something which is changing, which is anitya. How beautiful it is, how Atma is Sarvagata, how it is not even affected by the space because space is all pervasive, but it is only with reference to the world. But it cannot pervade the Atma because Atma is consciousness, and in the consciousness, there is no space. So it is very, very beautiful words we should remember. It is Sarvagata, it is Achedya, it is Nitya, Nutana, Nitya, Achala, Sanat. Yeah, we can do Manana or please let me know. So again here Bhagavan is pointing out that do not cry for anatma, which is always living, which is always changing. Okay. So we will go to the next verse, verse 25. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitumarhasi. Ayam, this, avyaktaha, unmanifest. Ayam, this, achintyaha, not an object of thought. Ayam, this, avikarya, unchangeable. Uchyate is said. Tasmat, therefore. Evam, thus. Enam, this. Viditva, knowing. Anushochitum, to grieve. Na arhasi, you ought not. Ayam avyakta, ayam achintya, ayam avikarya, uchyate tasmat evam enam viditva anushochitum na arhasi. This self is said to be unmanifest, not an object of thought, and not subject to change. Therefore, knowing this, you should not grieve. I repeat, this self is said to be unmanifest, not an object of thought, and not subject to change. Therefore, knowing this, you should not grieve. Vyakta refers to anything that is manifest, that which is an object of perception, an object of sense organs, and that which is not manifest, not an object of the sense organs, is avyakta. Therefore, Atma is referred to here as avyakta. If Atma is not an object of one's perception, is it perhaps an object of inference? No, says Lord Krishna. Atma cannot be an object of inference because it is not an object of thought. It is achintya. Atma is self evident. Thus, the word achintya does not mean that the Atma is not available for understanding. Also, Atma cannot be an object of inference or perception because without the Atma, inference and perception are not possible. In addition to not being an object of sense perception, avyakta, nor an object of any inference, achintya. The Atma also does not undergo any modification whatsoever. It is a vikriya. It is not like milk that undergoes a change to become yogurt. The milk gains a new taste, sourness, and its smell as well as form undergoes a change. Because milk is subject to change, it is said to be vikriya, vikarya, kshamyata, vikarya. I hope I'm reading it correct. The pronunciation, kindly correct me if it is wrong. I repeat this last paragraph once again. In addition to not being an object of sense perception, avyakta, nor an object of any inference, achintya, the Atma also does not undergo any modification whatsoever. It is avikriya. It is not like milk that undergoes a change to become yogurt. The milk gains a new taste, sourness, and its smell as well as form undergoes a change. Because milk is subject to change, it is said to be vikarya. Previously, it was in one form and now it is in another. The same object that was milk before is yogurt now. Unlike milk, the Atma undergoes no change. You cannot say that previously Atma was happy and now it is sad because no change is possible for the Atma. Due to aviveka, however, one takes oneself Atma to be subject to change. But because it has no avyava, no attribute, it cannot undergo any change. So beautiful. We can just, these all words are so beautiful for meditation. Achintya, avikriya, because it is vikara rahit. It's only because of our aviveka we superimpose that pure consciousness, that self-evident Atma, being happy, sad, depressed. So beautiful. How for small little things, how we get shaken, and how silly it is when we know that we have something which is never changing. Yeah, please do share. I think we can stop here. Please share your understanding. We have few minutes before I can put the meditation. Please share your understanding. Ramraj is not there. Yeah, anyone wants to share, kindly go ahead and share. Very beautiful topics for Manana. Okay, I will just say the Shantipa. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Yeah, we will just do meditation with Gurudev.
ना सब लोग आराम से बैठ जाइए. एवरीवन सिट कंफर्टेबली इजली. रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधा रखे. लेट्स कीप आवर स्पाइन इरेक्ट. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. And become aware of the vast sky above the head. सिर के ऊपर विशाल गगन है. उस गगन से तरंग हमारे सिर पर पड़ रही है इस वक्त. इसका स्मरण करें. Become aware of the vast space and cosmic rays from the universe falling on your head right this moment. मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते सारे तरंगों को अपने भीतर स्वीकार करें. With a smile, receive all the vibrations, cosmic vibrations, into your body. Vedic chantings are there, are happening. All other sounds are there. Just welcome them all. मंत्र घोष भी चल रहे कहीं दूर. पूरे वातावरण में पवित्र तरंग उठ रहे हैं. इन सब को आप स्वीकार करें अपने भीतर. Let's also chant Om. हम भी 3 बार ओंकार का ध्वनि करते हैं. गहरी सांस लीजिए. ओम. ओम. रिलैक्स योर होल बॉडी. पूरे शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दें. लेट एवरी सेल इन आवर बॉडी start to relax, expand, and smile. ओम शांति शांति शांति. और धीरे धीरे आंखें खोल सकते हो. Slowly and gradually you may open your eyes.
Thank you, Didi.